Okay, so I finished Recursion like 6 hours ago, and I'm still not okay. I'm not even sure I'm the same person who started reading it. This book absolutely wrecked me, and I need to tell you about it immediately before I have any more existential crises. This is Recursion by Blake Crouch. It's science fiction, it's a thriller, it's a meditation on grief and memory and time, and honestly, I think it might be one of the smartest books I've read all year. And I'm coming from a lot of literary fiction, you know? So when I say this rivals the emotional sophistication of anything in that space, I mean it. Fair warning, though. This book is heavy. Like, emotionally heavy. We're talking grief, loss, identity questions, the stuff that sticks with you long after you close the book. I'm still sitting with it. So I went in almost completely blind, which I highly recommend. I knew it was about memory and that Crouch had written something mind-bending, but I wasn't prepared for what that actually meant. The book opens with a suicide attempt in New York City. A woman named Anne appears on the roof of a building, and a detective named Barry tries to talk her down. And immediately, in like the first 10 pages, you're emotionally devastated. Because both of these people are grieving something, and they recognize that in each other. From there, the book expands. You meet a neuroscientist named Helena who's working on memory technology. And then? Okay, I can't say what happens without spoiling it, but the premise starts unfolding and it asks this question. What if the memories in your head don't match reality? What if you remember a life that never happened? And it just keeps escalating from there. Okay, so here's the thing that destroyed me about this book. It treats grief as serious. Like, genuinely serious. Not as backstory, not as motivation for a hero's journey, as the actual emotional center of everything. Barry's grief about his daughter, it lives in every page, and it's not performative. It's this quiet, persistent ache where he's functioning, but he's not really okay. And the book sits with that. It doesn't fix it with a magic solution in chapter 3. It just lets him be a person living with loss. And then there's Helena, the neuroscientist. Watching her moral world collapse when she realizes what her research is actually being used for, that was devastating. She built something she thought would help people, and she slowly comes to understand it's being weaponized. And the book doesn't let her off the hook for her complicity, but it also shows her as a real person, trapped in impossible circumstances. The craft of this, though, the craft is phenomenal. Crouch sets up this intricate puzzle where every chapter you think you understand the book, and then he pulls the rug out and you have to reconsider everything. But it's not cheap. It's not M. Night Shyamalan twists for the sake of shocking people. Every revelation changes how you understand the characters and their motivations. There's this moment, and I won't spoil exactly when it happens, but there's a moment where the entire premise of the book restructures itself. And I literally had to put my Kindle down. I sat there for like 20 minutes just processing, because suddenly the book I was reading was a completely different book than I thought it was. And when I went back to reread earlier chapters, everything hit differently. That's sophisticated narrative architecture. What surprised me most about this book is that it's actually literary in a way I wasn't expecting from a commercial sci-fi thriller. Like, yes, there's a high-concept premise. Yes, there's a ticking clock and stakes. But underneath that, Crouch is asking real philosophical questions about memory and identity. He's asking, what makes you you? Is it the events that happen to you? Or is it the memories you carry? And if those don't match, which one is true? That's not just clever speculation, that's actual philosophy. And the book earns the right to ask those questions because it's grounded in character first. Okay, so I need to be honest about something. There's a middle section of this book where the plot becomes complex, like genuinely complex. And I found myself occasionally having to reread passages because the timeline mechanics got intricate. Now here's the thing. I think that's intentional. The book is doing something with structure that mirrors what's happening to the characters. So the complexity isn't a flaw, it's a feature. But I also want to acknowledge that if you're someone who needs very clear, linear narrative, there's a moment where this book will lose you. Also, I'll say this. The ending is ambiguous. Like, genuinely ambiguous. Not in a frustrating way. I think it's the only honest way to end a book about time and choice and what we can control. But if you're someone who needs all your questions answered and everything resolved, you might find yourself wishing for more closure. For me personally, the ambiguity is the point. The book isn't trying to give you the answer. It's asking you to sit with the question. Here's what this book is. It's a sci-fi thriller that uses memory and time as a lens to ask what makes life meaningful. It's a love story between people who never get the ending they wanted. It's a story about a father who lost his daughter and spent the entire book trying to understand what that means. It's devastating and brilliant, and I haven't stopped thinking about it. Who will absolutely love this? Anyone who reads for emotional depth. People who came to sci-fi from literary fiction. Readers who appreciate when a book asks you to do some of the work, when it trusts you to handle ambiguity. Anyone who thinks, the best sci-fi makes me cry. Because, honestly, same. Who might struggle? If you need very clean, linear narratives, this might frustrate you. If you prefer hard sci-fi that explains all the mechanics clearly, the book prioritizes character and philosophy over technical explanation. If you need your endings tied up in neat bows, the final pages might leave you unsatisfied. But for me, this is a 4.5 stars leaning toward 5. I need to sit with it a little longer before I make that final call, but this book took up permanent residence in my brain, and I don't think I'm getting it back. I'm keeping this one, and I'm absolutely reading whatever Crouch writes next. So if you watch this and you're intrigued, go read it. Go in blind if you can. Don't look up spoilers. Don't watch other reviews that might give things away. Just let this book break you open the way it broke me. And then come back and scream about it in the comments because I have so many feelings about this book and I want to discuss it with people who've read it. This is literally one of those books where I finish and immediately want to grab my friends and shake them and be like, you have to read this, even though I can't tell them what it's about. Just trust me. Trust the premise. Stick with it. I'll have this one on my best of the year list, no question. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.